lowering my voice so the management doesn't hear on the 10th floor. Fueling your insecurity at work. Business litigator Scott Reib joins us on the live line this morning. Scott, good morning.
Good morning to you.
So this idea of Big Brother at work is something that is on the increase. You've seen some studies that show that we don't necessarily pay that close attention to it, but we see those little screens that say, if you are using a company email, they can read it. If you're using a company phone, they know where you are. Where is the line between bosses managing their employees and getting in our business?
There is very little line anymore. Big Brother boss is watching. Everywhere you go in your workplace, you should expect that they're watching, whether it's on the computer, on the telephone, in the break room, in the supply closet, they are watching. And you have no reasonable expectation of privacy in the workplace.
Well, there are two things I want to know. First of all, where is our supply closet? And second is what reasonable expectation of privacy. For example, in my day job, I do television, and I understand kind of broadly where we can and cannot force the issue of taking video. But, I mean, in a workplace, like on the floor where we are now, there are 12, 15 different rooms. Could each of them have a camera in it? And if each of them does, is that okay?
That is okay. You can't have cameras in bathrooms and places where you would have an expectation of privacy because you're disrobing or doing something that's that kind of personal in nature. But every other one of those rooms you could expect has a camera in it. The problem for management would become if they're also recording audio, because then there's a little different, the privacy rules are a little different for audio recording.
Well, what is that? I mean, because I find that interesting too, because we're in a radio studio. We turn off the microphones, we have conversations. Those are not conversations we necessarily want to have on radio.
That's right.
So can somebody put a recording device in this studio to listen to us when we're not on the radio?
Yes, they can. The problem in the middle of the office on breaks from a radio station, you don't have an expectation that your employer isn't listening. If you're on your telephone making a business telephone, making a private phone call to your spouse or significant other about a private matter, that then you have an expectation that that's private and shouldn't be recorded. But what most employers are doing is putting in their policy and procedure manual that all phone calls in and out on our phone equipment and lines are not private and are being recorded. So then your expectation of privacy is gone.
Scott, we have to touch on GPS on company phones. Company vehicles have this stuff built in now. They know where you are at all time, and that's okay.
That is okay. Now, if it's they can't track your personal vehicle. But if you're in a company vehicle, it's fine for them to be watching where you are at all times, and you should have that expectation.
All right, so if it's let's take that one step further because I think it's interesting. It's a cell phone or a smartphone that is issued by the company, yet you're in your private vehicle.
They have a right to know where their equipment is, so they'll have the tracking on and know where it is.
Okay, so it's not provided by the company, but you get a stipend. Because that's so they
starts getting tricky, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I get a little extra jingle in the check to pay for a phone that I'm expected to have.
Yeah,
but they can still track that.
Well, unless they have access to your phone, it's going to be difficult for them to put any kind of tracking mechanism on it.
Okay.
So to do that, they would have to request it, and you would know. And so generally, if you're just getting reimbursed, for business phone calls on your private cell phone, they're not going to be able to track that. It's the ones that they're issuing, but they're also able to track iPads and Samsung devices, and so the tablets are also ways that they can track you. So it's just you see the headlines, Big Brother boss. It really is that way. And as a small business lawyer, I understand why. But as an employee, it's definitely concerning that everything you're doing is being watched in that way and can be used against you.
We're way out of time, but we all want to know, what's your retainer? No, I'm kidding.
Business litigator Scott Reib, well done.